everyone, and welcome to the best years of your life. I would like to welcome all of you to the Life Farm Global Network Training corporate call today. My name is Sonia Olivas, your Life Farm Global Network Premier Services Manager. I am very excited about tonight's call. The subject tonight is listening to our prospects and posing the right questions. Tonight's guest speaker is a great builder and leader for Life Farm Global Network, Silver Director RS Mallory. RS Mallory has 40 years experience in holistic remedies. She has had at least 25 or plus career in teaching and has spent the last 17 years in training and coaching people how to become a successful networker, marketers in health and wellness and natural remedies arena. RS has served on the board of directors of several district sales organizations, 7 nonprofits, helped create 35K distributor base, and chief communications officer. Has achieved top 5 distributor status multiple times, and currently teaches compassionate marketing success using her experience and talents. Welcome to RS.
Thank you, Sonia. It's nice to be here, and thank you, everybody, for taking the time out of your busy days and afternoon and early evenings to attend this call. You know, Life Farm Global puts on this call every single week, and they have a lot of other telephone call events going on that will help serve you to develop skills and to strengthen your skills so that you can build a business and learn how you can better attract customers to your organizations as well. You know, Sonia, over the years as a teacher, one of the things that I realized was whether you're teaching little kids in a classroom or you're teaching big guys, adults, what you need to do is you need to develop a skill set which includes listening and asking the right questions, because if you don't listen and you can't figure out what the people really want or what their challenge is, then you cannot serve them well. All the great successful business people who created America down throughout history, like Henry Ford or Andrew Carnegie, the steel magnate, even great trainers like Napoleon Hill or inventors like Thomas Edison or Tom Paine, all knew that the number one basic secret to success is finding out what other people want and then finding a way to help them achieve what their goals are, whether it be in business, whether it be in health and wellness, whether it be some other type of situation. So what I've done over the years is taken my skills as a teacher, and I've just realized that everybody responds to kindness. Everybody responds to realizing that somebody is actually listening to them and they are actually caring about them. So the number one secret to success in our industry or any direct sales is letting people know that you do care about them and that you're there to help them resolve any challenges that they have or help them get what they want. In our particular company, what we're focused on is introducing people to laminine, sharing it to them, exposing it to them, letting them know what the product is and how it may or may not help them or somebody that they know and other folks. Because the truth is that when we help people get what they want, we wind up attaining our goals. It's just the law of balance and the law of the universe. So, you know, there's really just a few essential foundational skills that we need to help people with their problems and their challenges. And if we learn how to master them, then it's a win-win situation for everybody. And one of those foundational skills is listening. So if you're talking to a prospect, and that could be a prospect customer, Sonia, or it could be a prospect business person. And in this particular instance, we really never know. So the number one point I'd like to make is don't ever judge anybody. You don't know whether they're going to be a customer, even if they say that's what they want to be, or they're going to develop into being your number one salesperson. You just don't know. So we have to find out what their immediate needs are. And the way to do that is to ask some pivotal questions and then to listen. And over the years, what I've discovered is people ask questions, especially in direct sales or just in the course of life, and they start tapping their fingers or they start tapping their pencils or they start wandering in their mind, and they're really not listening to the answers of the other person because maybe they've prepared a canned speech, or maybe they're new at whatever they're doing and they're waiting to read a script, or they're waiting to tell somebody something that they think they should want to know. But if you have children or grandchildren, or perhaps if you don't have any kids, you have a niece or a nephew, or there's some kids in the neighborhood, or maybe you do some coaching with school or in your church or something like that, every single human being responds to kindness, and in this particular instance, listening equates to kindness, because if we show an interest and let people know that we're listening to what they're saying, then they feel extra special. And that also creates an instant bond. And many of you who are business partners and active business partners with Life Farm Global Network realize that the most successful people in any direct sales or network marketing company are those people who understand and realize and know how to build a relationship and maintain that relationship with their distributors, with their teammates. So again, whether a person is just a customer that you're developing a relationship with, or is going to be a potential business partner, or somebody that is really undefined and you don't know, what you want to do first is develop the foundational skill of listening. So what exactly is it that you're going to listen for? Well, I'm not here to tell you what you should say or how to say it, because we have different team leaders and everybody has their own system on what they're training their folks to do. And some of us are just using our own instincts. But because this product is I call it a bulletin board product, we wear the results of the product. And so people can't help but noticing that we feel better, or we look better, or we are better, or something in our life has changed and there has been a positive paradigm shift. They ask us questions. They ask questions. What's going on with you? What is it that you're doing different? I know that your nails were breaking off and you're doing this, that, and the other thing. You're looking better. You look 20 years younger. You're not aging anymore. You're not limping anymore. Whatever the case may be. And I don't want to turn this into a product call. All we simply have to do is say thank you and acknowledge the compliment or the observation from the person, and then turn it around and say to them, thanks so much. I'm glad that you noticed. It really is gratifying to me. Who do you know that might be in a similar situation, who would want to resolve some type of a problem? So people love when you ask them to help you. And then they will start talking. Now, here's where the good listening comes in. I always have a pen, and I like to use paper. I'm a paper gal. I know that a lot of people like to write things in the computer, stuff like that. I have some folks that like to use index cards, big index cards. I like to open up a file on everybody, and when I'm talking to a new person, I don't take long notes. I don't make sentences and punctuate them. I just jot down things that are important. In the course of a conversation, if somebody is telling me about a particular health challenge for themselves, and the conversation wanders to, let's say, their grandma, or their children, or their grandchildren, or their neighbor, or that they're coaching football or soccer in the grammar school, or their child is going for an athletic scholarship for college, I just jot that stuff down. Scholarship for college, high school athlete, coaching, soccer, church, stuff like that. If they mention some kind of a life cycle event, birthday, anniversary, things like that, or they give me a brief history of themselves or their family or the person that they're concerned about, I jot those things down. You may not use that information now, but when we have a follow-up or many follow-up conversations with this person, we have all this as a resource to look back on. And you know, Sonia, one of the most important things to building relationships with people is to let them know that they have been heard, because it makes them feel special, and it makes them feel that you are actually taking an interest in them. And that serves not only your end game well, but that serves them well, because we are here to discover what challenges a person has or what goals they have. It's either we're going to create health and wellness and wealth. And the wealth can be spiritual wealth, it can be physical wealth, and it can be fiscal wealth. It can be monetary, and it can be all three. We need to keep focused, and we need in our mind to have this mindset and understand a person might be a customer or think they're just going to be a customer. They might wind up being a business partner. They might just want to make a couple of referral bucks, but people really don't know what they want when they start out. So now we had somebody talking, and we just ask a couple of pivotal questions. Who do you know that might be interested in creating some wellness for themselves? Or if you've been in a discussion at the supermarket or in the Walmart line or maybe at church having lunch after a church service or something, wherever you meet people and you have a conversation with them, you can always engage them in some type of a tete-a-tete. And it doesn't have to be a serious thing. I carry a generic business card. It has my Compassionate Marketing name on it, and it also has my telephone number and my email address. Most people can carry a Life Farm Global business card as well if they wish to. I just don't because I'm branded as Compassionate Marketing. So that's what I use. And I make conversation with people, and I ask questions. I do not start talking about my product, and I do not start suggesting that they buy the product or this product is going to help them do all kinds of miraculous things, because in the end, that's not what our conversation is about. It's finding out how we might serve people by asking a couple of basic, simple questions and listening. And the reason I'm not giving you the specific questions is because it's different for every situation and every person. We need to be natural. This needs to come from you, from inside of you. We don't want people to engage in a conversation and then have the hair on their arms stand up and stick their fingers out and go, no, 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 incoming, you're trying to sell me something. That's not what we're here for. So what do we do with the information that we get when we're chatting with people back and forth? And I mostly, when I have a conversation with somebody, I let them do all the talking. And then at a certain point, when I gather enough information, I'll ask them another little question. Or say, oh my gosh, your grandma comes to live with you for 3 months. That must be pretty stressful on the family. Now, what I've done is given them another opportunity to think about even, whether that does create a stressful situation in their home. They may not even have been aware of it. And let them talk about that a little. But I'm certainly going to find out that grandma's 89 years old, and maybe she has a little this, maybe she has a little that. Maybe she's one of those centurions that live in the Ural Mountains in Russia, and she is just as healthy as an ox and a horse because she eats all that yogurt and fresh food and stuff. We're going to find all that out. And again, we're going to jot down those pieces of information, those nuggets of information that will serve us for a follow-up conversation. So that's honing our listening skills. You might not think that what you're hearing is going to benefit you, but if you just start jotting down these little bits of information, you will develop the ability to use these things. For instance, if I call back this lady whose grandma has come to stay with her for 3 months, and I ask her if it's okay for me to call, a month into her grandma's visit, I might say to her, hi, Mary, this is RS Mallory. We chatted a little while ago, and we met in the Walmart line, and just to reacquaint her with who we were. And I'll say to her, you were so excited about your grandma coming to stay with you, and I will look at my notes. And I will include a couple of the little tidbits, those little nuggets that she told me about with her grandma, how they were looking forward to her visit, how she comes only once every other year, how her children are looking forward to her, how she's uploading them with family history, that they celebrated a big birthday. It was her 80th or 90th birthday. Mary is automatically going to feel a kindred spirit with me. And all the walls are going to disappear because she knows that I have listened to her in a conversation and I have given value to Mary, who she is as a person, and that I value the camaraderie that we have. So Mary will be more willing to listen to something that I have to share with her, in this instance, our product. And especially if I frame it, Sonia, in terms of her grandma who happens to be visiting. Now, she may at the time ask me some questions, so I'll listen to those questions and jot down some of the pivotal ones, and I may not be able to give her the answers right there, or I may discern that it's just not the right time. I hear a whole bunch of people in the background. I'm using all of my senses on the phone, and I know that she's getting ready to have a whole bunch of people there, or I hear a disturbance. And so I ask Mary at this point for her email address or a better time to call her, and always give a person two choices when you're going to set up a subsequent call with somebody. And I call that book a meeting from a meeting. And the acronym for that is BAM-FAM. It's not something that I created. Somebody else did, but I borrowed it, and the great salespeople always borrow from other people things that are successful. So that's BAM-FAM, book a meeting from a meeting. And that's really not so difficult if you're a parent, or you just are living with a spouse or a partner. You BAM-FAM every time you leave your house, whether you're going out to a job or whether you're going to the supermarket or your spouse is going out to work or your children are going to school or you're taking somebody to church or you're going out to lunch with somebody. You will say to the other person in your life, or maybe one of your kids, I'll see you after school. Don't forget that you have soccer practice. I'll be there at 4 o'clock to pick you up. That is a BAM-FAM. You're booking a meeting from a meeting. You say to your husband, don't forget tonight we're taking Mr. and Mrs. Smith out to dinner for their anniversary. I'll meet you at the sushi bar at 7 o'clock. You're BAM-FAMing. You're booking a meeting from a meeting, and you're reiterating it. We already know how to do this. As the examples that I just gave you showed. So we already know how to do this, but you should all write down BAM-FAM and try to use it and let it happen naturally when you're speaking with a prospect, whether they're just a customer or whether they're a business builder. So the reason is because we want to serve our people well. We want to let them know when we follow up with them that we care about them, and if they have some type of a challenge or they have a problem, we're there to offer them a solution. That could be an extra $200 at the end of the month. Maybe it's an extra $1,000 at the end of the month. Maybe it's legacy income. Maybe it's a health and wellness challenge. Maybe it's both. Maybe somebody doesn't realize and know that in taking our product, that as they experience success with the product, that other people are going to see those results and ask them what's happening, Sonia, and they're going to share with them the product that they're taking and refer them to their website, or maybe have them listen to a telephone call or give them some information about the product, or send them to a website, or have them talk with a product specialist on their team, somebody who knows a little bit more than they do. And then the person is going to be very, very grateful, and as they start referring other people, they're going to make some referral dollars. And then they're going to start getting their product for free. And when that happens to customers, it never fails that they always call me back, and they'll call you back too, and they'll say, I got my product, but they didn't charge my credit card. And I kind of chuckle because it's really so wonderful. And I let them know, well, that's because you referred a couple of people and you made some referral dollars. And people will say things like, oh my gosh, can I spend it? Is it mine? How do I get it out? And I tell them how to download it as a direct deposit, or how they can get a debit card from the company and then use it that way. And then they say to me, really, it's my money? How do I get more? Now is not the time to beat somebody up over the head and tell them, oh, they have to be a network marketer or they have to be direct sales. I just tell people, well, you've been referring people to the product because you've been wearing the results, and if you tell a few more people, you'll make a little bit more money. And I don't know what your goals are. Mary, what are your goals? Did you want to make just free product or an extra $200 on top of your free product? And Mary might tell me that her husband lost a second job, or that grandma came to live with them and they need $500 or $1,000 a month. And I might say to her, you know, Mary, you were already making some referral dollars with Lifelong Global. It is possible for you to perhaps strive to make the type of money that you're looking for. And if you're interested, I can show you how to do that. So I'm not beating anybody up over the head, and I give her some choices. Or I can show you how to make more money, so maybe your husband doesn't have to go back and get a second job again, and he can stay home with you in the evenings instead of working nights. Which one would serve you better, Mary? Just getting your product for free or making a couple $100 at the end of the month on top of free product, or maybe making $500 or $1,000 a month? Which is better for you? So Mary is telling me what she wants. Now I know how to guide Mary and where to go with her, and I help her develop the skills that she's going to need. And the reason why talking and listening is so important, Sonia, is because everybody has that skill. We just have to teach people how to use them in a way that'll be more beneficial to them, and to feel that they do not have to just blurt out and blurb everything that they think they know about this product or about the business. That is very offensive. And what we really want to do is instill and grow and build what we call know, K-N-O-W, like, and trust. And the real way to build know, like, and trust with somebody that you've just met, maybe in person at the Walmart or maybe at church or, you know, maybe even on the telephone, is by letting them know that you're there to serve them and you care about them and that you are listening to them. So when you ask them things that you had taken notes about in a different conversation, they realize that you thought enough of them that you remembered. They don't think, oh, that person wrote down a whole list of things that I told them. That's not what human nature does. Human nature in kindness says, oh my gosh, that person really listened to me. That's somebody that values me as a person and values what I have to say as a person. Maybe this person is just the right person to help me bring my husband home from his second job at night, so that he can help me and we can be less stressed with grandma in the house now and the kids will be less stressed. And maybe I can make a little bit more money and bring my husband home. And maybe RS will be the person to help me. She's concerned about it. She's listened to me. She's heard me. And she's a nice gal. She even is concerned about, when she hears on the phone there's a tumult going on in the background in the house, what would be a better time for us to get together so that we could focus on talking and helping each other and figuring out what's better suited for us. So when we ask questions, it's not so that we just get somebody talking. We actually utilize the information that we're getting back. Again, you don't have to be a world-class note-taker. I don't want anybody to be a note-taker. I want you to be able to just jot down phrases or things that people are talking about. And it doesn't have to be neat. Just do it. And we have to, in order to do that, you have to listen to what the people are saying. That also signals that you're building a little relationship to them. We talked about what you do with the responses that you're going to write down, the little list that you're going to do. Next time you call or when you talk to people, you don't have to regurgitate everything they told you in the first conversation, but now you're building an archive. You're building a history. You're building a relationship with this person. And you're going to create a system that you're comfortable with working with. As I said, some of my folks use index cards. Some like to use digital stuff online. I like to use folders, and I open up a big piece of paper on somebody. And I also use a highlighter, so things that I think are really important that they commented on that was really important to them, I circle it with one of my highlighters so next time I talk to them I can focus in on that. Or let's say it was Grandma's 90th birthday. I highlight that in big circle so next time I call Mary, I'm going to be sure to ask about Grandma's 90th birthday or 80th birthday. Some people use a recipe card file. Keep life cycle events. You know, when I'm taking an application from a new business partner or a customer, and it's not mandatory that we know their birthday, but what I say is, could I have your birthday, please? If you don't want me to give me your year, that's okay, but I'd like to send you a birthday card and acknowledge your birthday. And people are astounded. And they say, oh, sure, my birthday is November 16th, 1944, or whatever it is. And then what I do is I note that in my files, and I use a system. It's a free system out there called birthdayalarm.com. And you can go there and you can put down anniversaries and you can put down birthdays and you can set it up so they send you an email 2 days before with the person's name, their telephone number, and their email address. This is the digital age, ladies and gentlemen. There are wonderful tools out there for you to use to help you build and maintain relationships with people that will also provoke people's wanting to do business with you, wanting to continue with you. Now, of course, we know that our product is an extraordinary product and that it helps people with their wellness. It helps them actually help their bodies create wellness for them. It is a catalyst product. It doesn't do anything itself but wake up our stem cells, and our stem cells do all the work. And that is amazing. They're programmed by the universe to do that. This is not a product call, but the bottom line is what we are programmed as human beings to do is to really help other people. And when we listen and ask the right questions and let people know that we care about them and we are here to help resolve or solve any type of challenge that they have, again, whether it's wellness, health, or wealth, and whether that's spiritual, physical, or fiscal wealth, then we make a friend. And the most important thing in building any type of a successful business is in building people who trust you and know you and like you. Because believe it or not, another training call is something called referrals. And when you build up a strong, big business base with people who know, like, and trust you, they will start building their businesses by referrals. And even if they're only a customer and they don't want any extra money, or there's somebody in the neighborhood who's buying product from you retail, but they're loving the product, they will help you build your business because they will give you referrals. Andrew Carnegie knew that secret. So did Henry Ford. When the people bought the first Model Ts that rolled off the line, those people told everybody else how great that horseless carriage was. And he built a business by referrals. So ladies and gentlemen, don't be intimidated. This is a business. It happens to be a business based on an extraordinary product that helps people reclaim their health and their wellness and indeed live the best years of their life. So don't be shy. What I would suggest you do is you be a walking billboard to others. Just be courteous, be kind, extend a smile to everybody that you meet and everybody that you know. And when you're talking to new people on the telephone, smile, because they can feel that smile over the telephone. Don't be grouchy. Make sure your kids are in another room. Make sure that your door is closed. Make sure that your desk area and your working area is neat and tidy, and you have all the tools that you need, whether it's your index cards to jot down information or whether it's a folder with a clean piece of paper. Make sure you have everything that you need. Be a resource person. If somebody says something to you and you have a resource for them, or you can send them an article that's non-related to the product, by all means, be a resource person. Serve them. That helps people build a know, like, and trust for you. And so they will come to you when they have more questions, and they will come to you for answers if you make yourself valuable. But in turn, Sonia, you've actually made yourself valuable to them because you've allowed them to talk and share things with you, and you have listened and you have proven to them by your actions that you actually consider them valuable just as a human being. So I hope this was some valuable information to many of you, and I hope that you will develop some of these foundational skills. Don't be nervous about it. Remember, it's very, very natural for us to carry on a conversation. I would suggest, having taught school for 25 years and being in this industry for 17 years, that you do not read a script verbatim to anybody if anybody has given you one. Learn about the product. Stories sell, ladies and gentlemen. So you can tell facts, but people will glaze over, and it doesn't make any difference. They don't care about that. They care about the testimony that you can give them. Maybe it's a personal testimony. Maybe you're going to borrow a testimony from somebody else. I know Lifefarm Global shares a lot of testimonies on their Facebook page and all over the place. They make them available. Some of the leaders make them available. I know occasionally they put on different teams put on different health-a-thon calls and stuff like that. Write down some of the testimonies that you have and make sure you write them down in a manner so that we're not curing or suggesting that anybody take this for a cure, because that's not what this product is. Clear it with somebody who knows that. And always be very honest about what this product is and what this product is not. It's not a miracle product. It is a catalyst product that will help your body create wellness in your body. And when we do that, then we will strive to help people attain their goals. And in doing so, we will create health and wealth. Sonia, I'd like to thank you very much for inviting me onto this call this evening and imparting some information to people. I hope that some of it works for people. If anybody has any questions about this, I'm available as always for anybody, and I can be reached on Facebook. And
thank you so much, RS. We appreciate you being on this call. You know, the information you shared tonight was amazing. I really love the points that you brought up tonight. You know, our IBOs are always working on, you know, a customer base, a business partner base, and the key points tonight you had were very important. The know your product. That I love that. That's definitely where your key points need to be, especially when you're trying to let people know what Laminin does for them. And the know your business pay plan. That's actually very important when you're describing to someone else. Not only do we have such an awesome product, but you also have a great pay plan that goes along with it. And what to listen for. Listening to your enrollees or people who are potential business partners is very, very important. You're getting the information that they want to emphasize in their own business and helping them to find that. So I love those points. And, you know, why to follow up? What's the major point to follow up? That's definitely such great information. RS, I loved it. Thank you so much for being on our call tonight.
Thanks for having me.
I also wanted to remind you. Oh, go ahead.
I just said, everybody, live long and prosper to everybody who's on the call, and just spread a little cheer and kindness.
Definitely. That goes a long way. I also want to remind everyone to register for our upcoming LifeVention Convention, November 7th through 9th. You have until October 31st to register, and that's only 7 days away. You know, when was the last time you were part of something that could help change the lives of you and the people that you know? Experience training opportunities from the best and the brightest. Learn innovative ways to grow your network and discover a new level of personal achievement, fulfillment, and financial success. You really need to be a part of this. The Lifevention is going to be such a great convention. We have some wonderful things planned. You guys might have heard there's going to be a new product presented there. We have some great speakers. Sherry Tree is amazing just to hear. I know she was on our call a couple weeks ago, but to hear her in person, see her, is just an amazing thing. She's awesome. So take advantage of that 159 price lock that we have right now. You can go to lifevention.com. That's LIFEVENTION.com. And again, thank you everyone in the Life Farm Global family for being here tonight and tuning in and taking the time away from your busy schedules to tune in to this call. Really appreciate you guys. And again, thank you so much, RS. Really appreciate you. You guys have a great night.